For years, jiu-jitsu has been marketed as more than just a sport. It's a lifestyle, a family, a path to discipline and character. We entrust our coaches with our physical safety every single time we step on the mats. We trust them with our children. But what happens when that trust is broken at the highest levels? In early 2026, a crisis erupted that has forced every single one of us to ask some deeply uncomfortable questions. In a near-simultaneous implosion, two of the most dominant competition teams in modern BJJ, Atos and Checkmat, were forced to remove or suspend their founding leaders amid allegations of sexual abuse and misconduct. This isn't a minor controversy. This is a seismic event, a rupture in the very fabric of the sport's hierarchy, and its aftershocks are threatening the reputation and the future of jiu-jitsu itself. To understand the magnitude of what's happening, we have to dive into the crisis ignited in early February 2026, when two pillars of the competitive scene, Atos and Checkmat, crumbled under the weight of serious allegations. At Atos, a team synonymous with excellence, founder and legendary competitor Andre Galvão was indefinitely separated from the organization he built. This came after a young, longtime athlete, Alexa Hurst, publicly accused him of a pattern of sexual misconduct. Almost simultaneously, Checkmat, another BJJ titan, announced the suspension of its co-founder, Leandro Vieira. The suspension followed a public statement and lawsuit from a former student, Julia Angelica, who alleged sexual abuse and exploitation beginning when she was a juvenile competitor. The fact that the two most dominant teams in the sport were rocked by similar scandals at the same time signaled that this wasn't just about a few bad apples, it looked like a systemic rot. And that rot goes far beyond just two teams, threatening the public perception of the entire sport. For decades, the marketing of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has been built on discipline, respect, and family. It's sold as the gentle art, a perfect activity for kids to build confidence and for adults to find a supportive community. This image, carefully cultivated and genuinely experienced by millions, has been profoundly damaged. The scandals at Atos and Checkmat have shattered the trust that is the bedrock of our sport, especially for parents, new students, and anyone looking in from the outside. This trust isn't just an abstract idea, it's a practical necessity. Jiu-jitsu is an art of intimate, simulated violence. We put our bodies and our well-being in the hands of our training partners and coaches every day. We trust that the person applying a choke will let go when we tap. We trust our coach is matching us with safe partners. And we trust that the environment is one of mutual respect, not predation. The allegations of grooming and abuse of authority weaponize this trust, turning a space of empowerment into one of potential danger. The fallout reveals a deep cultural problem within elite BJJ, hero worship. For years, the sport has operated under a coach's hero model, where a handful of legendary figures are placed on pedestals, their authority unquestioned. This creates a power dynamic that can be easily exploited. When a world champion head coach is treated like a deity, who is going to question them? Who is going to speak up when they cross a line? As Alexa Hurst's account alleges, the answer is often no one. The pressure to remain loyal, to not bite the hand that feeds you, can be immense, especially for young athletes whose careers depend on that one person's approval. This isn't even the first time we've seen this pattern. The BJJ community has faced similar scandals in the past, only to see the accused suffer minimal consequences and, in some cases, just rebrand and continue their careers. What feels different this time is the scale and the community's reaction. The mass exodus from Atos by world-class athletes and lifelong members sent a powerful message. Loyalty has its limits, and integrity is more important than affiliation. This crisis has also exposed a huge problem in the sport: the lack of real governance and accountability. Unlike more established sports, BJJ largely relies on its own organizations to police themselves. As we've seen, that system can fail catastrophically when the people at the very top are the ones being accused. There's often no independent body, no safe reporting mechanism, and no clear process. An athlete's only option might be to report their concerns to the very people invested in keeping things quiet, as was alleged in both cases. This leaves victims isolated and perpetrators shielded by their own organizations. The damage also hits the business side of jiu-jitsu. Sponsors have pulled support, and platforms like BJJ Fanatics have come under fire for continuing to sell content from accused individuals, highlighting the conflict between community ethics and profit. The whole situation has forced a painful conversation about who we, as a community, choose to celebrate, promote, and enrich. If you agree that this conversation is vital for the future of BJJ, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more content that isn't afraid to tackle these tough issues. But this isn't just a high-level problem. It has real, tangible effects on every single person who steps on the mats. It's easy to look at this as a problem for the pros, a drama playing out among world champions and famous coaches. But the erosion of trust and the cultural issues this crisis has exposed have a direct impact on every single person who trains jiu-jitsu, from the first-day white belt to the seasoned black belt gym owner. First, it forces us to reevaluate the trust we place in our own gyms. You now have to ask questions that might have seemed unnecessary before. What are the safeguarding policies at my gym? Is there a clear code of conduct for instructors? Who would I report a problem to, and would I be taken seriously? Are there female coaches on staff? Are background checks required for instructors, especially those working with kids? These are no longer paranoid questions. They are essential for anyone in the sport today. For parents, the stakes are even higher. The allegations involving minors at two of the world's top academies are a parent's worst nightmare. It shatters the idea that a famous name or a long list of trophies equals a safe environment. In fact, it suggests the opposite, that prestige can sometimes be used as a shield. Parents now have to be more vigilant than ever. You need to know the gym's policies on private lessons and interactions outside the gym. You need to have open conversations with your kids so they feel safe telling you about anything that makes them uncomfortable. For gym owners and instructors, this is a critical moment. Your students are looking to you for reassurance that their academy is safe. This is the time to be transparent about your policies. If you don't have a formal safeguarding policy and a clear reporting procedure, you need to create them now. This isn't just about legal liability. It's about your ethical responsibility to your students. It's about actively building a culture where safety and respect are prioritized over everything else. That means supervising roles, setting firm boundaries, and making sure no single coach has absolute, unchecked authority. Finally, for all of us, this crisis challenges our relationship with the art itself. Many of us have struggled with separating the art from the artist. We love what jiu-jitsu has given us: confidence, resilience, community, but we're repulsed by the alleged actions of some of its most prominent figures. This is a moment to realize that the health of the sport isn't determined by the legends at the top. It's determined by the culture we build on our own mats, in our own academies, every single day. The future of jiu-jitsu belongs to us, the practitioners, and it is our collective responsibility to demand a higher standard. So what does demanding that higher standard actually look like? And what are the concrete steps we can take to fix this? This crisis, as devastating as it is also an opportunity, a chance to rebuild the sport on a stronger, safer foundation. This isn't just about punishing individuals. It's about fixing the systemic problems that let this happen in the first place. The path forward requires concrete steps at every level. First, the sport needs independent oversight. We can no longer rely on teams to police themselves. Major governing bodies like the IBJJF and ADCC must step up and implement mandatory sport-wide safeguarding standards. This should include required training for all registered instructors on things like professional boundaries, recognizing grooming behavior, and proper reporting. They need to establish a clear, confidential, and independent reporting system so that victims can come forward without fear of retaliation from their own team. Second, academies must adopt and enforce transparent safety policies. This should be non-negotiable. Every gym should have a publicly available code of conduct. For youth programs, this is even more critical. Mandatory background checks for all staff, rules against one-on-one private sessions with minors without a parent present, and open-door policies should be the absolute minimum. Third, we have to dismantle the culture of hero worship. This is a cultural shift that starts with us. We need to stop treating coaches like infallible gods and start seeing them as professional educators who are held accountable for their conduct. Celebrate the art and the principles of jiu-jitsu, not just the personalities. Support a diverse range of voices in the sport, especially women and other groups who have been historically silenced. As an athlete, a student, or a parent, you have power. Before you join a gym, check it out. Ask to see their safeguarding policy. Watch a class and get a feel for the culture. Is there good supervision? How do instructors interact with students? If you're already a member, document any concerns you have formally and in writing. Your choice of where to spend your money and time is a vote for the kind of jiu-jitsu you want to see. The only way to know if things are getting better is to see a drop in these incidents, a rise in the number of women and kids staying in the sport, and to see these safety policies become standard everywhere. That's the only way to restore trust and ensure that the image of jiu-jitsu as a force for good becomes a reality, not just a marketing slogan. Ultimately, the choice is ours. The events of early 2026 have been a black eye for Brazilian jiu-jitsu, exposing deep-seated problems of power, accountability, and culture. The alleged actions are a betrayal of the trust that lies at the heart of our sport. But if there's a silver lining, it's that this crisis has sparked a conversation that was long overdue. The future of this art doesn't belong to any single coach or team. It belongs to the community. It belongs to every one of us who shows up to train, to learn, and to be better. Now is the time for us to demand better, to build safer spaces, and to hold our leaders and each other to a higher standard. The integrity of the sport depends on it. So now, I want to hand it over to you. What are your thoughts on this? What steps do you think are most important for protecting students and rebuilding trust? Share your ideas in the comments below. Let's have the honest conversation our community needs.